Back to the Future was, obviously they went to the future in the second one, right? But then like you see the previews and it's like, oh, wait a second. They're going back to the old West. Like, how is this going to work? That's not the future. I mean, I know they went back to get to the, but still, like, I was that's just how is that gonna work? What are they gonna do, right? And so, like, it's Michael J. Fox. They're going back to the old West. I mean, that is just catnip for a 13-year-old boy, right? So, like,
Mm-hmm.
that's where I was at. I mean, like, I was just so excited.
Yeah. So you're excited. Your 13-year-old self is excited. My 6.5-year-old self is excited. I get to take another 6.5-year-old friend, Rondi Johnson, and
Right.
we are all escorted to the movie by our Mamo. That's our grandma. You're
Our
going to hear us talk
our
about her a lot.
Yes, our angel of a grandmother, Mamo, who is the
Mamo.
Mamo, salt of the earth, amazing person, which you're gonna learn real quickly as to why.
So she drives the three of us in her convertible. She was a convertible lady up
Oh gosh.
to the Brywood Theatre. Justin, do you remember the Brywood Theatre?
Oh yeah. So the Brywood Shopping Center, which is where the Brywood Theater was. I mean, that was like our home base shopping center.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it was just right down the street from our house was pretty awesome. And it showed all the first run films. I mean, this was you're not talking about Dollar House. Like these were the first run films.
These were great. You walked into the Brywood Theater and there was a huge concession stand. And then off to the right were two theaters. Off to the left were another two theaters. But that concession stand was huge and beautiful. And they had the Care Bears gummy bears, which are just supreme. They're gummy bears and they've got Care Bears on the package. So that's like a little girl's dream.
Well, that had to have an effect because you are a gummy aficionado.
Mm-hmm. Gummies have always been big in my life. I will say that the day that we saw Back to the Future 3, we got the Twizzlers, we got the Sprite. That's how Rondi taught us the trick. But the other thing that Mamo bought us were Skittles. Okay?
Okay.
So
Here
we're
we go.
we're rolling into the theater, okay? And what I remember is we got there a little late. And I don't know if you guys like this just I
Mm.
don't know why this doesn't happen more these days. Like now I feel like people are just like more timely and have their,
Well, it's
shit
reserved
together.
seating. It's reserved seating.
Right. Yeah, okay.
They didn't have it back
That
then, but it's pretty much
yes.
reserved seating across the board now. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you were a little late to a movie back then, it was like there was no way you got to sit together, and the only thing available was the front row, correct? And it was like a
You were
bad
screwed.
you were screwed.
Yes, you were
So we walk
screwed.
in to Back to the Future 3, Rondi, Mamo, Justin, and myself. Okay, and it's a packed house. Everybody wants to see Back to the Future 3. I'm assuming it's opening weekend because it's packed. And it's basically the only place you can get 4 seats is the front row. Justin, you immediately like spotted that, oh, I can sit by
I'm like,
myself like in the
I am
20th
see
row.
ya. Yeah, I'm
See
a
you later.
13-year-old. I'm like, bye 6-year-olds, bye grandma.
Yes.
I gotta go roll on my own.
So he abandons us. Um,
Yeah, of course. I'm 13. I'm going to abandon two 6-year-olds and a grandmother and our mama. I'm sorry.
yes.
I'm not gonna apologize for it. Like
I mean,
that's
you never know what like cool teenage girl might be in the back of the theater.
hey, yeah, you never know. And it never happened. But I allowed myself the opportunity to actually have it happen. So, that's yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we roll up to the front row. And I think Mamo immediately, the previews were probably happening and we're like trying to get situated, and people are probably like, shh. And Mamo's like, oh God. And I think she's also seen like, I'm about to sit in the front row as like a 60-year-old woman. And I mean, that was probably like 3D
Yeah,
to
that's
like older eyes
well,
with
it's like
glasses. Like,
and they were and, like that was a point too. And movie theaters obviously have like, taken a bit of a hit this past year. But like, they were trying to pack as many people into theaters at that point. So the screen was like on top of you. I mean, it was like, if you're in the first row, that screen is like 7 feet away. So you're just like this, like you're just looking straight up at this like 20-foot tall image. And
You're
it was,
wrenching your neck. I mean, that's not
yes.
okay for someone of an
For
older
a
generation.
6-year-old, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But like
We'll watch a
she was
movie in a
not.
headstand at that age, but for a 6D-year-old, that's not okay. So
Mhm.
I think I probably said, like, can Rondi and I sit alone? And Mamo definitely gave me some eyes like, uh,
Mm, mm.
are you gonna be good? And
Yeah.
I was like, yes, we're going to be good. And so she peeled back to like the fourth or fifth row.
All right.
So this little sassafras and her friend are sitting solo, sans Mamo in the front row. And we decide at
I
some
know what's
point
coming.
in the first probably 10 to 15 minutes of Back to the Future 3, where 6-year-old brains, I mean, yes, Back to the Future 3 is like a whole lot of fun and a whole lot to look at, but like
Yeah, but
6-year-olds ain't getting time travel or anything at this point. So
no. They don't care
we
about
start,
context. They don't care about the setup.
no, we don't care about the
You
love
care about
story.
the candy. You
We
care
care
about the
about the
candy.
candy.
Yeah.
So these little 6-year-old brains start getting bored. And, one of us comes up and I'll take the hit, comes up with the idea, what would it be like to throw a Skittle at the screen?
Just
And
what would that experience be like? I
what would
wonder
it look like? How would it
what would it look.
sound?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I take the first pitch, and if you're looking for a Skittle to hit the screen, and we're also little, so it's going to hit low, not
Yeah.
that high, then it's really funny. So we're doing like a few Skittles hitting the screen. I don't think anyone's noticing. They're light. They're coming from 6-year-old little
Oh,
arms.
they're noticing. That was a packed
Well,
house. Yeah, they weren't noticing yet. I'm sure that they were they were like, whose fucking kids are these that are throwing these? They're like alone. Like, is that your kid? Like, okay.
and
Yeah, no,
well, we don't know that. We're not getting in trouble. So
uh,
we
of
decide
course.
okay, this is fun, but how can we get these Skittles to stick to the screen?
How can we
So
up our
we
game and how can we make sure that everybody notices our shenanigans?
exactly, we want some attention. We
Right.
want to be the movie. So we start putting our Skittles into the Sprite and then we start
Wow.
throwing those at the screen. And you guys, the Skittles are sticking. I don't know if you've ever tried this, but if you put Skittles in Sprite, they get sticky. They get this, they're already sticky. They get the Sprite sticky. And they start
Yeah.
basically causing the characters on screen to look like they have zits and marks. I mean, we're just like zitting up the screen with Skittles. And we are having the time of our lives. It's like I've forgotten where I am,
That there's anybody there who could, it's just you and Rondi.
yes.
Yeah.
And then I basically just feel a hand grab and pull. And I'm in the lobby with my Mamo getting a major talking to. She definitely knew it was her granddaughter throwing Skittles, wet Skittles at the screen.
Well, because you
And
understand, like as 6-year-old you, she's not watching the movie.
no,
The
she's
moment you guys
watching
said,
us.
and I can't like imagine the thought process is like they are throwing candy at the. Okay, well, Joyce, our Mamo's name is Joyce. Of course, we never call her that, but for the purposes of this exercise, Joyce, just let them be kids for a minute. We'll just,
Mhm.
just okay. That Skittle is sticking to the screen. Oh my God. my Heidi is going to ruin the movie for everybody. And that would be the thing.
And
That would be the thought process. She would be very, very upset that you were ruining the movie for somebody else.
and
She's a
not
very
even
considerate person.
very considerate, but also
Yeah.
that I would ruin the actual movie screen because as the
Oh,
Skittles
yeah.
started traveling down like red, streaks and
Didn't even
orange
occur to me.
streaks and green, yeah. Like that was the rainbow. The Skittle Taste the Rainbow is happening on the movie screen.
Michael J. Fox was tasting the rainbow that day.
Yes. So, basically, so that's the major thing, guys, that I remember about Back to the Future 3. I got pulled in the lobby. I promised Mamo it wouldn't happen again. She let me go back in, sit in the front row with Rondi. We finished out the movie without throwing
Right.
Skittles.